Hello, I'm back. Welcome to my channel. Today I'll be drawing a D&D character based on the roll of the dice. Let's bring out the Tower of Destiny! Now, we have a Centaur Sorcerer, and I'm fairly certain most people will be familiar with the concept of a centaur. It's in a lot of media, and it's a mythological creature of ye olde times. But in the D&D universe, there are certain mechanics that apply. So the creature type is Fae as opposed to humanoid, which most playable races fall under the humanoid category. This one is Fae, which means that they have a little fairy magic in them. They're probably from the Feywild, or their ancestors are. Their size is medium, walking speed is 40 feet. They have a special trait called Charge. If you move at least 30 feet straight forward and then hit a target with a melee weapon attack, you can immediately follow that attack with a bonus action, making one extra attack against the target with your hooves, because you have hooves, and also you can, charge like a beast. You have another trait called Equine Build. Your size is you count as one size larger when determining your carrying capacity and the weight that you can push or drag. So I think it's a case of, like, if you're fighting a non-playable centaur NPC beast, I don't know if their size is still medium. I'd have to look that up, but generally medium-sized creatures include, like, humans, who obviously can't carry as much as a horse. So this is like a little fix to just fix the logic of that in the storytelling wise, where if you have saddlebags on a centaur, they should be able to carry more than a human with a backpack. Like, you get it. Hooves are another trait. You have hooves that you can use to make unarmed strikes. So that's kind of similar to Tabaxi having claws. Natural affinity. Your Fae connection to nature gives you an intuitive connection to the natural world and the animals within it. You therefore have proficiency in one of the following skills of your choice: animal handling, medicine, nature, or survival. Sorcerers are a really fun class of magic user in D&D. Unlike most of the other kinds of magical classes, sorcerers don't have an external provider of magic. They don't learn it from books. They don't have a patron, like a warlock patron or a god or anything like that, granting them magic. The magic comes from within them. Officially, I think it says, sorcerers carry a magical birthright conferred upon them by an exotic bloodline, some otherworldly influence, or exposure to unknown cosmic forces. So, yeah, basically, you have some magic in your bloodline, and instead of having to study magic in terms of trying to use it or trying to gain more magic from the world, a sorcerer will generally need to focus on controlling their magic. And when we talk about a sorcerer learning magic, it's more learning how to control themselves, how to control the magic that is just already inside of them. Part of being a sorcerer requires you to choose your sorceress origins. So this is kind of similar to, say, in wizardry, you would choose a school of magic to follow. It just sort of defines what kind of wizard you are. This defines what kind of sorcerer you are, but instead of choosing a path to follow, it's more saying where you've come from. So this is the origin of your magic, basically, your bloodline, or if there was some sort of spell, if you come from the Feywild, that kind of thing. So in this character, I've chosen the draconic bloodline origin, which means their innate magic comes from a draconic magic that was mingled with their blood or that of their ancestors. Most often, sorcerers with this origin trace their descent back to a mighty sorcerer of ancient times who made a bargain with a dragon, or might even have claimed a dragon parent. Some of these bloodlines are well established in the world, but most are obscure. Any given sorcerer could be the first of a new bloodline as a result of a pact or some other exceptional circumstance. So I feel like I need to mention, in most D&D lore, dragons can shapeshift into human form. So I don't know if I was the only one thinking this, but when it talked about having a dragon for a parent, that does bring some stuff into question. So it's a little bit like Zeus coming to Earth and taking the form of whatever. It's they can be humans, so it's not that weird and gross. Anyway, I then had to choose what kind of dragon ancestry this character has, because there are various types of dragon in D&D. I chose probably a more cliche, easy to wrap your head around dragon, which is the red dragon, because they do damage type of fire. So it's sort of, it's the dragon you think of when someone says dragon. It hoards gold, it breathes fire, it's red. It's a red dragon. Other dragons might not necessarily care as much about gold, and some of them breathe like acid, so it's more of a liquid vomit situation, or they have lightning. Cold, you have like silver and white dragons do cold damage. There's a bunch of different kinds of dragons, and it's very cool to look into them. But we're doing a red dragon, and I decided because she's a centaur and she has draconic ancestry that I'd make her look a little bit more like a dragony centaur. I changed her tail into having, dragon spikes instead of being just hair, and I'd really have fun with it. I have a lot of fun with it. So what are we going to call her? I'm thinking Ashley. Okay, so her name's Ashley, and Ashley's abilities are pretty on par with what you would expect. I haven't got any curveballs in here, so that's good. Her strength is +2, which she's a centaur. I haven't added any proficiencies or anything that you get when you have your race and your class and the official backgrounds and things like that. I just obviously show exactly what the dice roll. But so I think she would have additional strength to what's on the table here as a centaur, but she has +2, so she's already naturally quite strong. Makes sense. And dexterity, I'm laughing because I was playing a game where we had a centaur character, and she kept forgetting that she had arms and hands. Because there was a lot of focus on the fact that she had hooves rather than feet, and so there was the question of like whether she could go up a spiral staircase, or how she would fare in a jungle where there weren't defined paths and things like that. And it was always just the roll of the dice to see, if she succeeded or stumbled around or whatever. But every now and then, because of that focus on the having hooves part of her character, every now and then it'd be like, oh, and how do I pick this up? How do I pick up my weapon? And we'd have to be like, with your hands? Anyway, so dexterity is +2. She is dexterous. She has hands. She can do everything a person with 2 hands can do, and she's quite talented at it because she does have that +2 to dexterity. Now, constitution, she has dragon in her bloodline and she's a centaur, so +3, that makes a lot of sense. Maybe she can't breathe fire. She might be able to eventually. I didn't really read into what having a red dragon in your draconic bloodline means as you move along in the sorcerer area, but she can handle spicy foods, and she can handle no sleep and marching along fields for a long time. She's pretty hardy lass. and intelligence +1. So she's got a good memory. She's good at learning things from books and retaining information. Not like crazy good, but you know, +1 is not nothing. Wisdom is 0. Well, average, it's +0. I usually take this to mean that she's sort of just lived her life in a normal way. Like she's maybe a little bit privileged upbringing. She hasn't gone through a lot that would require her to be above average in terms of reading people and just anything that you would require a wisdom roll for. But also she's not like dumb. She's not bad at wisdom. She's not in the negatives. So she's as good as she's needed to be thus far, but I don't think she's done a lot of adventuring in her life until now. And then charisma is +2. She is fun to be around. I mean, I think she can turn on the intimidation when she needs to as well because of her draconic background, and also she's like kind of massive. Like I think she's got that vibe of she's a very tee-hee cheerleader, fun and great to be around kind of person, unless you cross her. And then you suddenly realize that she is the size of a horse and she could kick you and she can strangle you at the same time. So don't mess with her because she's lovely unless you give her a reason to not be. So yeah, charisma. Thinking about her background and call to adventure, I think that she's probably just coming out of school. Like, I think the reason that she wants to join an adventuring party is because she's just graduated high school and she wants to get out in the real world and live her life. I mentioned she has cheerleader vibes, so I think that probably she was a cheerleader, and I don't think she struggled with school at all. I think she was very much like being a sorcerer. She didn't have to study magic. She was just a natural at it. And so she used the time that other like wizard types would use to study magic to go out and have fun, probably hang around with all the bards and yeah, join the cheerleading squad, do a lot of extracurriculars and just, you know, have a blast. And now she's graduated and she wants to see the world and go on adventures and could probably stand to learn some of the harsh realities of life, but mostly she wants to do some good, but primarily she wants to adventure and see the world, meet new people, and maybe even delve into her draconic bloodline backstory and find out what's going on there. I don't know that her parents would have necessarily known what happened there. I don't think she has either parent who is a dragon, and I don't think it was like, it might be like a family myth, if that is a thing, where it's kind of like an urban legend, but only within her family, where there have always been whisperings, but there's never really been evidence that there is dragon blood in their family. Until she was born. And so she wants to find out what's truth and what's made up and yeah, maybe get to the bottom of that. But yeah, this is Ashley, the Centaur Sorcerer. Or sorceress, I suppose you might prefer to say, but wizard is wizard regardless of gender, doesn't really matter. Yeah, I'm interested to know what people think of this character in particular, because as a centaur with draconic bloodline, I probably could have had her be more intense and more like scary, but I wanted her to be more fun. I feel like dragons are so intense usually. It's more fun to have a more carefree, fun-loving dragon character. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you're not already subscribed but you like this video, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and thank you to people who already have subscribed. You guys are awesome. and I will catch you next week. Okay, bye!